Good afternoon, YouTube. In my previous video, I was talking about my PlayStation 2 games. I was showing what games I had, complete with a small, brief introduction to the game, giving kind of an idea of what the game's about. Now, Tori hosted it with me. She felt she wanted to be part of my videos. You'll see her from time to time in my videos. Now, without further ado, I will complete the list. I had to break it down in two parts. Come on, darling. Come on, baby. Good girl. Get up here. Lay down. You can at least close the door behind you, Mutt. Okay. Continuing where I left off. I'll save that one for later. The Fast and the Furious. And there's some kind of Japanese writing. I'm assuming this is based off the movie Tokyo Drift. Another street racing game. I never played it. Buddy of mine needed some money. I needed a new PS2. So he sold me the games for $10. And that was one of them. I've never played it. But just going from cover art and the description and the title, I would say that it's another street racing game like Juiced or Midnight Club. Medal of Honor, Vanguard. Most Medal of Honor games pride themselves on being authentic experience. And it's, I've had it before, I've played it before. You play as a paratrooper during World War II. And in case you don't know what that means, paratrooper drops in by a parachute off of an airplane onto the battlefield. The reasons vary. There could be numerous reasons. Some paratroopers actually came in on a glider. The glider was an aircraft that did not have a propeller, didn't have a motor, didn't have any way of propelling itself. It would fly on a cable attached to another aircraft, usually a high-level bomber. And at a certain point, they would cut connection with the cable and just coast it on down, just glide down to wherever they had to land. And Medal of Honor Vanguard, you play as a paratrooper during World War II. It's got a pretty decent challenge. It shows you a little bit more about the World War II theater. Alright, next up. Test Drive. This is one of the games that came from my roommate. I know nothing about it, but just going from the description, it says, you are Dennis Black, an independent street racer. You've just been asked to prove yourself on the road with your arsenal of raw power muscle cars and performance street cars. 16 opponents get in your head and will do anything to win. Ditch relentless cops in San Francisco, Tokyo, London, and Monaco. Can you survive huge jumps, insane wrecks, and thick city traffic? So, it would appear to be another street racing game. Probably something like Juiced or Midnight Club. SOCOM 3, U.S. Navy SEALs. I've played one of the SOCOM games. I don't know if it was this one. You play as a soldier for the U.S. Navy SEALs. Darling, get up here. If you're done feeding your face, get up here. You play as a Navy SEAL. As far as the gameplay style, I know that the style is stealth-based combat. Other than that, I really don't have much of an idea for it. I've never... What I did play, I think I played maybe 30 minutes of it. I couldn't get the hang of it, and I sent it back to GameStop. So, you know, one day whenever I open this case up and we get a look at it, you know, we'll see what it's about. Alright, interesting little factoid about me. From Nintendo 64 up to the most advanced system, which I believe at the moment would be the Xbox One or PS4, I'm a huge fan of the Tom Clancy games. Tom Clancy games are different than most shooters. They give you a slightly different edge. It feels a little bit more real, and it's just a different shooter. It doesn't allow you to play hero like most shooters. So with that being said, here I have Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, the very first one. Most of you that are viewing this video have probably played Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, Ghost Recon Future Soldier, or any of the other various Ghost Recon titles. This was the very first one. This is the one that started it all. Tom Clancy had 3 different titles going to make for 3 different titles for 3 totally different game styles. Ghost Recon is open world. Well, open world as far as the missions go. They're individual missions. I cannot remember. It does not actually tell. But yeah, you get a group of men and women. You have 2 of each class, or maybe it's either 2 or 4 of each class. I think you have, it's like 4 or 5 riflemen, 2 support, 2 sniper, 2 demolition, and then from that point you have your specialist soldiers that have special weapons, special equipment, and specialized skills. And out of that lineup, you can pick 2 squads of 3 members each. And as you're playing through the game, you can command the other squad to go right beside you, or you can pull up the in-game map and tell your other squad, to go somewhere else and take care of something else. You have to outfit your soldiers appropriate for the mission. For the most part, you would probably be carrying out the mission covertly. That's out of sight, quietly, etc. But there are some moments in the game where there's no avoiding it. You have to engage in an open firefight. So this would be Tom Clancy's, I guess, open fighting commando style type, whatever. And Ghost Recon put a different edge on the army-styled fighting games, the army-styled shooters, because before Ghost Recon, you had GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, some of the early Call of Duties. You had, what other? Games like SOCOM. And the Tom Clancy games provide a different edge. It's a slightly more realistic feel. It's a little bit more, I wouldn't say tactical, but definitely more technical. Another of the Tom Clancy games is the Rainbow Six series. Now, this is Rainbow Six 3. I've never played Rainbow Six 2. I don't even know what Rainbow Six 2 is on. I have the original Rainbow Six for Nintendo 64, and I will give a description of that later on. But Rainbow Six 3, you play as the leader of a 4-man team. You play as Domingo Chavez. And coupled with the other members of your squad, the 4 of you take high-stakes missions. Some missions might be as simple as taking enemy soldiers down. You may be rescuing hostages. You may be defusing a bomb. You know, whatever the high risk is, but you use night vision, you use thermal goggles, smoke, flashbangs, go loud, use a silent weapon. It's one of the first ever games to use a quick switch. That is, use one button to switch between guns, or switch between weapons. And Call of Duty, Battlefield, a lot of your first-person shooter games make a huge, huge habit of that you have one, or you have between 2 and 3 weapons that you can switch between, just with the tap of a button. Back in this time, you had to actually pull up a little menu that would show the weapons you had and select one. This one was like the first one to have a quick switch, where you could, as soon as you run out of ammo, instead of stopping to reload, you could just drop it and pull your handgun. So And other games in the past, even if they did have a quick switch, there would be a 2 to 3 second delay between switching weapons. Ghost Recon even had that. There's about a 2 second delay between switching weapons. So, and if you ran completely out of ammo, you had to reload before switching weapons. This is one of the first games, if not the first game, that regardless of how much ammo you have left over, you do not have to reload. You hit that quick switch and you're going to pull out your handgun. You know. So that was another edge that Tom Clancy put on the shooter genre. Cabela's Deer Hunts, 2005 season. Now, this is 2018, so yes, this game is really old. And while I enjoy the thought and the prospect of hunting, I personally do not have the patience for it. I've tried deer hunting before, it's not for me. But I do like, every now and then, it's not very often, but every now and then I do like to play a game where I can go fishing or I can go hunting. I don't really care to do it in real life because it bores me, honestly. I hunt small game. I hunt squirrel. I hunt rabbit. And I'm totally off subject, but I'm looking into getting a pellet rifle probably some point later on this year, and a reflex sight to go on top of it, or at least a pellet pistol, and going back squirrel hunting. Because as a convicted felon, I cannot own a firearm. I can, however, own an air gun. What is it, baby? So yes, Cabela's Deer Hunts 2005 season. From what I have played of this game, there are certain limits of what you can carry with you. You have 1 to 2 firearms. You have your scent spray, your rattle antlers. You can take food with you, water, so that if you do happen to stay in your hunting ground of choice for more than a day, hey baby, if you do stay in your hunting ground for more than a day, you know, keep your health up and everything. So it's more of an expedition. It's not just one hunting trip. But yes, all in all, it's a relaxing game, in my opinion. Cabela's Trophy Bucks. I saw this online, on eBay. I think I paid $4 for it. And come on, for anything less than $10, you know, when you buy a game, it doesn't matter how old the game is. If you pay less for a game, you know, you can't really go wrong unless the game's defective. If the game's defective and it doesn't work, then you just blew your money. And many places won't give money back because that violates, once the package has been opened, that violates a copyright law. But yeah, this one is slightly different than the other one. You choose the mission, and the hunting area is already pre-set up for you. You have your bag limit of what you're supposed to reach. Maybe because I haven't played it very much, I've played maybe 15 minutes of this game. But you don't have very much customization as far as the camouflage you wear, the rifle or shotgun you use. They give you rifle to start off with. They tell you, kill this. And honestly, it feels like a first-person shooter. It doesn't feel like an actual hunting game. That was unexpected. And here we have Deus Ex. Now, for those of you hardcore gamers out there, Deus Ex, you probably heard the name Deus Ex, probably seen that little symbol right there. Deus Ex is a wonderful, wonderful story. It's a very in-depth world, multiple endings. It does not have a linear storyline at all. Now it has what I call a open world. Now the difference between limited open world and a true open world. A true open world game, you can go anywhere, do anything. You can spend hours doing absolutely nothing, and you can still get XP. And you know, without following the main story, you can still get XP, get money, get whatever. A limited open world means that in every game you're going to have an objective. All right. So a limited open world, you're given your objective just like an open world. You're free once you're given your objective, you're free to go about it however you please. But you have a limit on what you can and cannot do that's going to ultimately turn you back around to your main objective. With a world, you never have to go back to your main objective. You can pursue side quests, side missions, and do something totally different to get your XP and money, or equipment, or loot, whatever. Deus Ex is a limited open world, and I'm speaking for The Conspiracy, Invisible War, Revolution. I have not played Mankind Divided yet. But Deus Ex The Conspiracy, you play as J.C. Denton. You partner up with your brother Paul to uncover, as the title suggests, a conspiracy. Through the game, you select whatever weapon you want as you come across them and find them, of course. Collect money, you help out with side missions, play the game however you want to. And based on the choices you make to the ending that you will come out with.
I made some. Okay. It's a creamy mushroom, chicken, ramen, sherry cooking wine.
Call of Duty 2, Big Red 1. For those of you that have been keeping up with my YouTube, I've already played the opening credits and tutorial of this game. Everybody knows Call of Duty. They try to go for the authentic soldier experience. This particular game, you play as a soldier during World War II as part of the U.S. Fighting First, better known as the Big Red 1.
Please. I just hope you like it. Are you coming?
In a frickin' minute.
I just asked what you ordered. When did you get the movie Hearthstone?
Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
No doubt.
In this particular game, you play as, if I'm not mistaken, you play as one of those three characters: Legolas, Aragorn, or Gimli. I played maybe 30 minutes of the game, and honestly, I can't even remember it. But it's a third-person open world, kind of a RPG type simulator. You play as one person surrounded by 20, 30, 50, hundreds of enemies, and using a sword, using an axe, whatever, you hack and slash at your enemies until you make ends meet. The Dog Island. The Dog Island is a interesting game. It's different. Never played it myself. However, I did watch my ex-wife play it. It's really a cute game, more so than anything else. You pick a certain breed of dog to play. Now, the dog on the cover is a beagle. I think that looks like a beagle to me. But you pick the dog that you want to play as, and as you can see on the back art there, all of the characters in the game are dogs. Now, the storyline is that your brother or sister, some kind of family, the only pad left, has fallen deathly ill, and you have to find a cure. And in finding this cure, it's kind of like Legend of Zelda with dogs as characters. You explore the island, you make friends, you go to ultimately find a cure for your sick and dying brother. Another Tom Clancy's. This is Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Now, in all the Splinter Cell games, you play as Sam Fisher. Sam Fisher is an NSA agent. The story and everything contained herein is totally fictional. They would not release anything from the NSA this publicly. Play as Sam Fisher. It is a stealth-based game. You have to use your mind more so than your guns. You have to overcome obstacles. You have to remain out of sight. You have to do things, dangerous things. You get close enough where you can smell them, and they not even know you're there. Anyway, Splinter Cell was truly a different game back in its day. Now you have the Far Cry series. I think some Land series takes on that. The Elder Scrolls and the Fallout series take elements from this game. Moving on. This is one of the oldest games I have for my PS2. It's one of the first ever games that I bought. This is Armored Core Last Raven. For any of you that have ever played the Armored Core series, you play as the pilot of an Armored Core, or often called an AC. In this particular game, it's no different than the 5 before it, because there was Armored Core 2, Armored Core 3. Do not quote me on this, because I'm not sure if this is the exact order, but after Armored Core 3, there was Nexus, and then Ninebreaker, and then Last Raven. Now, I may have that order mixed up. But in Last Raven, the elite, the top class of AC pilots were called Ravens. So in this game, the world is teetering on the brink of war, and all of the world's superpowers use AC as their. I have one left. All the world's superpowers use ACs as their main fighting force. So you, as a Raven, have to take on other Ravens, and as you go through the game, you will determine the outcome of the game. You get to customize your own AC. You can paint it, you can color it, you can have up to 5 ACs.
And not air conditioners.
And as one of these days, I'll show it. It's rated T for teen, so I don't have to put a parental lock on it. I don't have to put any kind of viewer discretion advised on it. So, and last but not least, the only game that has no cover art. Yes, you're reading that title right. This is BMX XXX. This BMX XXX is if you can take Tony Hawk and cross it over with South Park and then throw in a little bit of Bob's Burgers and some Futurama in there, that's this. All right, BMX XXX. You can pick any pre-existing riders. You can create your own rider. I've always created my own rider. You take your bike and you start off in the Bronx. Now, unlike most sports games, Tony Hawk's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Dave Mirra Pro BMX, games like that, BMX XXX, there's actually a story in each level. Now, as you go from level to level, you help various people around the city. Your first level is the Bronx, New York. Now, that being said, in the Bronx, there are city workers, there are prostitutes, there is even a pimp for the prostitutes, and there's firemen, there's one homeless guy, it's just a very, very, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a dark sense of humor, but it's a very off-the-wall kind of sense of humor. It's not what you would really expect. Now, as the title suggests, BMX XXX, I don't know if it was a sponsor of the game. I kind of feel like it was. But there is a strip club called Scoreland, or Scores. As you go through the game, you can go to the Score strip club and see live DVD footage of girls that are bearing it all, shall we say. I really should say women, because most of the models that are shown in the videos are between 22 and 26. Now, that game I will probably put a parental lock on whenever the time comes for me to do a playthrough, just because of the title. There are probably a lot of people that will view it hoping to see nudity. Well, guess what? YouTube policy does not allow nudity in those. So, by the time I fire that game up and do a playthrough of it, hopefully I'll have a better video editing app. Right now, all my videos are totally uncut, totally raw. You're getting my live reactions. I'm not cutting anything from the videos. But hopefully I'll be able to have a better video editing app to to cut out certain parts because I know there's going to be parts in the game that I can't avoid it. There's going to be partial nudity, if not total nudity. And I'm going to have to cut those out so that YouTube doesn't close down my page. But there you have it. There's all my PS2 games front to back. I have one or two on my eBay wish list to be ordered. And when they come in, I'm going to start doing a mail time for all of my games, for all of my babe gear,
Packages.
and for all my packages.
Too. Ours too.
And I may actually have Tori do a mail time with me because she's now started ordering off eBay.
Woohoo!
And so yeah, if you see any of the games in my previous video and this video that you liked, or that if it stood out, if you're like, dude, I remember playing that when I was 12, when I was 15, or dude, I played that game years ago, drop me a comment. Let me know what you think about it. You know, if you see a game that looks, if you see a game that looks interesting and you want to see a playthrough of it, or just want to know more about it, want to know inside details, drop me a line. But make sure that you subscribe, because I'm going to start doing, I may not do a video every day, but my goal is to do 4 days a week. 1 to 2 videos a day. So, y'all let me know what you think. Holler at me.
Holler at me.
Yeah, how
You sound so ghetto.
However you kids say it these days.
Any purdy.
So,
this is a Tori and Christopher Lamar production. Or Dingus production. Oh, Darkfish Productions. There we go. That's a thumbnail moment.
Alright guys, I'll later, hopefully. I already spent way too much time.
Yeah,
I spent more time than I really wanted to.
Darling, quit biting me.
But,
I told her to tell you, you know.
But let me know what you think, guys.